It's all about spring recipes and great food tonight on Dierbergs Presents Everybody Cooks.
And we're so excited to welcome special guest Tony LaRussa.
We'll be making a portobello sandwich using our at-the-plate dressing as a special ingredient. It's delicious. Try it.
Also on the show, family favorite dinners like our easy weeknight lasagna.
And for special spring celebrations, you'll love our menu ideas for a spring menu.
All this and more, starting now.
For a USDA choice roast.
We don't carry that.
Well, what grade is this roast?
Ooh, looks like select.
Isn't that a lower grade and less tender?
Yes, yes it is.
Can you tell me where I can find a USDA choice roast?
No. No, I can't.
I can. Dierbergs carries only USDA choice beef. Better quality, better value. It's fresh, it's friendly, it's Dierbergs.
You'll find all the recipes featured on tonight's show and many more in Dierbergs' Everybody Cooks magazine. Just stop by any Dierbergs for your free copy while supplies last.
Welcome to Dierbergs Presents Everybody Cooks. Hi, I'm Barb Ridenhour.
And I'm Cathy Chipley.
Tonight we've picked out several of our favorite recipes from the March issue of the Everybody Cooks magazine to share with you. And we're going to start by trying to answer that question of what's for dinner. Always a problem around most households.
That's right. The cooking part is not hard. Deciding is always the hard part. We're going to make that a lot easier.
What we did, we went to our staff of culinary professionals and asked them to share some of their secret family favorite recipes. And we have a whole collection of those. The first one we're going to share with you tonight is our easy skillet lasagna.
That's right. This was developed by Sally Bruns. She's our cooking school manager at our West Oak store. It's the classic flavors of lasagna, everything you love, a little smaller for busy weeknights, and it can be made in a fraction of the time. I started by cooking some ground beef and garlic. That's all finished. Now you're going to add a jar of your favorite pasta sauce. To keep things light, we chose the light ragu, but you can substitute any flavor that you like in your family. Now I also need a half a cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and pour it into the jar, just to get out every last bit of sauce. There we go. Now I'm just going to let this simmer for a minute or two while we get the rest of the lasagna layers ready.
Now every lasagna needs a great cheese layer, and so I've started making that with some part skim ricotta to keep a nice lighter version of the lasagna going. I've added some salt and pepper. I have a little bit of Italian herb seasoning, and I'll add some Parmesan cheese. Now I also want to add some spinach. This is a box of frozen spinach that I've already thawed, but there's a lot of moisture that's still in the spinach. So I'm going to just go ahead and put that into several layers of paper towels, and then I'm going to show you how much water will come out of the spinach when I squeeze it. Look at this. And this is all water that you don't want to have in your cheese filling. Just squeeze that out, and then I can just stir this into the ricotta mixture. Okay, it's that easy to put together and it's ready to assemble.
Great. Now I reserved 2 cups of the meat mixture. I'll set that aside. The rest of the sauce is going to be my first layer. I'll just top that with some noodles. These are dumpling noodles. They work really well because they're short, flat, but they do have that pretty ruffle that you associate with lasagna. Top that with the ricotta mixture. I'm going to smooth that just a little bit with the back of the spoon. As it cooks, it'll even out a little bit, but this just gives it a head start. You're going to top that with the rest of the noodles. Next comes the sauce, and we need one last layer of cheese. I'm using the Dierbergs 6 blend. This has all the favorite Italian cheeses you love. Just put a cup of that right on top. And what I love about this is that I don't have to preheat the oven. Rather than going to oven, keep this on the stove top. Keep it covered with a tight-fitting lid and let that simmer for about 20 minutes until it's warmed through and the cheese is nice and melty.
You can already start to smell. The kitchen smells great. And it's going to be a delicious recipe in just a few minutes. The next thing we want to do is another family-friendly recipe. It's our Sicilian tilapia. And this is a recipe that was created by Nancy Lorenz from our Clarkson School of Cooking. This is one that you can make with any white flesh fish fillets, and you're probably familiar with tilapia. It's a very mild fish, very popular right now, and everyone loves it. But there's some other varieties that we want to introduce you to. One is the barramundi, which is a frozen fillet that comes in, and it's particularly known for having a buttery, rich flavor and a nice, mild, flaky texture. And we're going to be using the swai tonight. That's another fish that has a very mild flavor, and one of the things you'll like about this is that it frequently is at a very nice economical price point. So you can just choose the one that's going to be either your favorite flavor or that has the best price point the week that you're making the recipe. We're going to cut each of the pieces of fish into serving size pieces and then coat it with a crumb mixture. We're starting with the panko crumbs, which are a Japanese crumb, and they're very light and crisp. I've added some Asiago cheese, a little bit of garlic. I'll just stir that together. Then we're also going to dip the fish into a beaten egg. If you happen to keep egg substitute on hand in your refrigerator, I really like to use that for any of my breading. It's just very convenient to pour it out, and it's a perfect consistency for making the crumbs adhere. And now we're just ready to coat each of the pieces of fish, first in the egg, and then we'll roll it in the crumbs. These are ready to cook very quickly in the skillet, and in fact, sometimes fish is called nature's fast food because it cooks so quickly.
These truly are. Now, I've warmed my skillet beforehand. It's a non-stick skillet. Add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to be careful not to overcook these. They only take about 3 to 4 minutes per side. Just take out the last of the fish. It's golden and beautiful. Now, for a quick sauce, I'm going to use the same skillet. The sauce has great flavors of a piccata. The first thing I want to start with is some white wine. Now, for convenience, I keep the little 4-pack or a split of wine on hand. As that cooks off, it leaves a nice layer of flavor. If you don't like to cook with wine, you can always substitute more chicken broth. That's what I have here, some chicken broth with fresh lemon juice, lemon peel, and some cornstarch to thicken it. I'll just add that, and it'll take just a minute or two for this to thicken up. Okay, now the sauce is thickened. Wouldn't be a true piccata without some capers. These are packed in brine. They're a tiny bud. You may want to rinse those off beforehand. They tend to be a little salty. Let those warm just a second. I'll just ladle that sauce right over the fish.
Doesn't that look good?
It's going to have a nice bright lemon flavor that I love. And I'll just pour this in a little boat to serve alongside.
Now, if you'd like to add just a little bit of extra lemon flavor, you can squeeze some fresh lemon right over the top of the fish. In fact, what I like to do is just go ahead and put a couple of wedges of lemon right on the plate. Then if anyone at the table would like a little extra lemon burst, they'll have that ready to go.
Now, we haven't forgot about the lasagna. Go ahead and take the lid off. It's nice and steamy.
This is a dish that I like to serve right out of the skillet. That way it stays warm throughout your dinner, and besides that, your cleanup becomes extra easy, and of course that's an important factor for a family dinner. These are just 2 of our family-friendly entrees, and you'll want to check out the other ones that are in the magazine, so be sure to pick up your copy. Then we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, Cathy and I are going to show you some great recipes for a spring celebration dinner.
Also, a little later on, Tony LaRussa joins us in the kitchen. Stay tuned.